The grain elevator outside of Merrill Creek, Iowa, was supposed to be silent at night. On October 14, 1986, it wasn't. When the night foreman found the body, the sheriff called it an accident before sunrise. A drifter, no family, no fixed address, slipped, fell, suffocated under 50 tons of corn. It had happened before. What no one noticed was the woman standing across the road at dawn, calmly watching the police tape flutter in the cold wind. Eleanor Cross was 46 years old. She wore modest dresses, spoke softly, and worked as a part-time librarian at the local community college. People trusted her voice because it never rose. People believed her because she never rushed. She had been awake all night. Eleanor didn't watch the elevator out of fear. She watched it the way an author rereads the final page of a finished book. The ending was exactly where it was supposed to be. This was not her first killing, it was her 7th. She remembered each one clearly, not the faces blurred over time, but the precision, the weight, the silence afterward. Death, she believed, should be clean and unnoticed. Anything else was wasteful. Her husband, Thomas Cross, was already at work when the body was found. As a regional safety inspector, he would later review the report, nod gravely, and sign off on the conclusion: industrial accident. By evening, the town moved on. Eleanor returned a stack of books, cooked dinner, and washed her hands longer than usual, not out of guilt, but habit. She had learned long ago that routines were what kept people invisible, and invisible things were never questioned. In 1971, Eleanor Alvarez did not think of herself as capable of murder. She was 29, newly married, and convinced the world suffered from an excess of people no one would ever miss. That thought came quietly, not violently. It felt logical, necessary. Thomas Cross was the first person who listened without interrupting. They met in Nebraska, both teaching night classes, Eleanor literature, Thomas industrial safety. Their conversation started with books and statistics and ended with silence that felt shared, not awkward. The first killing happened 6 months into their marriage. His name was never recorded correctly. A seasonal worker from Texas, paid in cash, sleeping behind a closed-down mill. He drank, he argued. He threatened Eleanor one night when she refused him a cigarette outside the building. Thomas suggested they call the police. Eleanor suggested they wait. 3 nights later, they led the man into the mill under the pretense of shelter from the rain. Thomas checked the machinery. Eleanor spoke gently, asked questions, learned nothing of value. When it happened, it was fast. A push, a slip, a scream cut short by concrete and rusted steel. Thomas watched in shock. Eleanor watched the body fall and felt nothing but relief. They stayed until morning, adjusting details, positioning, timing. The sheriff ruled it an accident. That night, Eleanor slept better than she had in years. She didn't cry. She didn't pray. She simply understood something about herself that could not be undone. This was not a mistake. It was a beginning. By 1973, Eleanor and Thomas Cross no longer discussed whether they should continue. They discussed efficiency. The killings spread quietly across small towns in Iowa, Missouri, and southern Minnesota, places connected by grain routes, abandoned plants, and temporary labor. The victims changed, but the principle remained the same. Men and women who existed on the edges of record books. A warehouse cleaner crushed beneath a faulty lift. A night watchman found drowned in an empty water treatment basin. A migrant woman discovered at the bottom of a fertilizer pit, her death blamed on intoxication. Each scene told the same story to the authorities: negligence, poor lighting, human error. Eleanor adapted with frightening ease. She learned how long it took for panic to turn into silence. She learned how to position a body, so gravity did the rest. She preferred places where machines were older than the laws meant to regulate them. Thomas changed too, though more slowly. He stopped watching. Instead, he planned routes. He chose locations. He kept notebooks filled with inspection schedules and maintenance gaps. He told himself he was preventing chaos by controlling it. By 1977, there were rumors. A state trooper mentioned similarities between accidents during a conference in Des Moines. No one followed up. Different counties, different victims, no obvious motive. Eleanor kept one rule: never take anything from the dead. She believed objects carried memory, and memory invited questions. In 1979, after their fifth confirmed death, she broke that rule once. A woman's scarf, blue, wool, hand-stitched. Eleanor kept it without knowing why. She folded it carefully and placed it inside a box beneath the stairs. That decision would undo them both. The case did not begin with a body. It began with paperwork. In 1980, Detective Harold Minnick of the Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation was assigned to review unresolved industrial fatalities for statistical anomalies. He wasn't hunting a killer. He was auditing negligence. What he found unsettled him. 7 deaths. Similar environments, similar victim profiles, all ruled accidental, all occurring within a predictable travel radius over 9 years. Minnick reopened 2 files quietly. He noticed something else. Inspection approvals filed unusually fast. Always clean, always thorough, signed by the same regional safety consultant, Thomas Cross. Minnick did not accuse. He observed. Surveillance followed. Phone records, travel logs, church attendance. The Crosses appeared painfully ordinary. Then, in late 1982, a break came from an unrelated arrest. A vagrant picked up in Cedar Falls carried a blue wool scarf. He claimed he found it in a vacant house once occupied by a couple who left in a hurry. The scarf matched a missing woman from 1979. Minnick obtained a warrant. The box beneath the stairs held more than fabric, buttons, watches, a single shoe, carefully cleaned, carefully preserved. The accidents at last had names, and the hunt stopped being theoretical. By the time Detective Minnick received authorization for deeper surveillance, the Crosses already sensed change. Eleanor noticed it first. A car parked too long across the street. A question at the library asked twice by different people. Patterns, she believed, always revealed intent. Thomas insisted they stop. Eleanor refused. One final death, she argued, would restore balance. Ending without closure felt wrong to her, like abandoning a sentence halfway through. In the spring of 1984, they selected a site in northern Missouri, a decommissioned ethanol plant scheduled for demolition. The victim was a transient mechanic who had been living inside the structure illegally. What they didn't know was that Minnick had flagged the location weeks earlier after tracing Thomas's inspection records. An unmarked unit followed the Crosses that night, losing them briefly, but not completely. The killing went wrong. The man fought harder than expected. He screamed. A flashlight beam cut through the darkness outside the building. Eleanor froze, not from fear, but from surprise. They fled without correcting the scene. 2 days later, police found the body positioned unnaturally. The death was no longer classified as an accident. Search warrants followed quickly. A storage locker, rented under Thomas's name, contained notebooks, site maps, and maintenance reports marked with dates that aligned too precisely with the deaths. The circle closed. The Crosses were arrested separately. Thomas was taken from his office without handcuffs. He cooperated immediately, answering questions too quickly, offering explanations no one had asked for. Eleanor was arrested at home. She did not resist. She asked only one question: "How many did you find?" During interrogation, Eleanor spoke with clarity and detachment. She described the killings as corrections. She expressed no anger, no pleasure, only certainty. Thomas broke within hours. He cried. He minimized his role. He claimed fear, coercion, love. His statements confirmed locations, methods, and timelines investigators had only suspected. Physical evidence sealed the case. Fibers from the blue scarf matched multiple scenes. Soil samples from their car trunk linked them to 3 sites. Items recovered beneath the stairs were identified by surviving relatives. In 1985, the state announced formal charges: 7 counts of first-degree murder. Newspapers called them the invisible couple. Eleanor read every article from her cell, correcting errors silently. Thomas stopped reading altogether. The trial date was set for March 1986. Neither of them planned to deny what they had done. The trial of Eleanor and Thomas Cross drew more attention than anyone in Merrill Creek expected. The courtroom was small, the benches hard, the air heavy with the presence of people who had realized, too late, that evil did not always arrive loudly. It often wore pressed clothes and spoke in measured tones. The prosecution laid out the case with methodical precision: timelines, maps, inspection reports, photographs of industrial sites once dismissed as unfortunate hazards. One by one, the accidents were reconstructed into deliberate acts. Eleanor listened without reaction. When she testified, she did not deny the killings. She corrected numbers, clarified sequences. She spoke of responsibility as if it were a mathematical concept. The jury watched her with visible unease. There was no rage to condemn, only conviction. Thomas's testimony came apart under cross-examination. He claimed influence, weakness, love twisted into obedience. The prosecution countered with notebooks, signatures, and choices made repeatedly over 15 years. The jury deliberated for less than 6 hours. Both defendants were found guilty on all counts. Under Iowa law at the time, the sentence was unavoidable: death. Eleanor Cross received her sentence without protest. Thomas Cross collapsed, sobbing, as the verdict was read. They were transferred to separate facilities within a week. The executions were carried out years later, quietly, without ceremony. In the towns they passed through, the mills kept running. The grain elevators filled and emptied. New inspectors signed new forms. The accident stopped. And in the absence of noise, people learned an unsettling truth: some monsters do not hide in shadows. They live inside systems that no one bothers to question.